I need you to stop whatever you are doing for the next 20 minutes. Seriously. Because what you are about to hear is going to make you question everything you thought you knew about birds. You probably think of birds as pigeons, maybe a parrot, a chicken if you are feeling adventurous. But nature has been absolutely cooking for the last 66 million years, and some of the results are so bizarre, so jaw-dropping, so hilariously over the top that you are going to pause this video and Google them yourself, I promise. We are talking about birds that look like they were designed by someone who had never seen a bird before. Birds with superpowers. Birds with personalities that frankly put most humans to shame. 20 of them. Let's go. You know how some creatures just have one thing they do that is so extra it is almost hard to believe? The magnificent frigate bird inflates a balloon from its throat. During breeding season, the male develops a bright red pouch of skin under his bill. He then fills it with air until it balloons out to the size of a basketball, throws his head back, spreads his enormous black wings, which can span over 7 feet, and rattles his bill like a drum. He will hold that inflated pouch for up to 20 minutes while females fly overhead. It is mesmerizing. It looks like a prop from a fantasy film. And apparently, it works, because frigate birds have been doing this for a very long time and showing absolutely no signs of stopping. Fun bonus fact, frigate birds are also legendary aerial pirates. They harass other seabirds mid-flight, forcing them to drop or regurgitate their food, which the frigate bird then catches before it hits the water. They live a life that is simultaneously deeply romantic and profoundly chaotic. This bird looks like it wants to speak to your manager. The shoebill stork is not playing around. Standing nearly 5 feet tall with a bill that looks like someone glued a Dutch wooden shoe to the face of a velociraptor, this bird is genuinely prehistoric looking. And that is because it basically is. Shoebills have been around in some form for millions of years, and honestly, it shows. Here is what makes them truly unsettling in the best possible way. They barely move. Shoebills are known for standing completely, unnervingly still for hours, not because they are sleeping, but because they are hunting. They wait, and wait, and wait. And then, with a lunge so fast and powerful that it has been called one of the most violent strikes in the bird world, they snatch lungfish, baby crocodiles, and Nile monitor lizards right out of the water. Baby crocodiles. Let that marinate. And if you ever find yourself face to face with one, which, by the way, can happen because shoebills are surprisingly okay with humans being nearby, they will look at you with those enormous yellow eyes, lower their head slightly, and give you a slow, deliberate bow. Researchers believe this is a greeting gesture. You bow back, you always bow back. Alright, change of vibe. We are going from nightmare fuel to pure art. The superb bird of paradise is, without any exaggeration, one of the most visually spectacular creatures on this planet. The male, because of course it is the male, has developed a courtship display so insane that when footage first went viral online, people genuinely thought it was CGI. Here is what happens. The male finds a nice spot on the forest floor and clears it like he is prepping a stage. Then, when a female arrives, he spreads his iridescent blue-green chest feathers and his cape of velvety black feathers simultaneously, creating a perfect oval shape that transforms his entire body into what looks like a smiley face. A glowing, electric blue smiley face. Just floating there in the forest. He then begins to hop, rhythmically, back and forth, with the precision of someone who has been rehearsing this routine his entire life. Which, to be fair, he has. The female watches. Unimpressed, usually. She flies away. He does it again tomorrow. And the next day. And the day after that. Honestly, the male superb bird of paradise is one of the most resilient creatures on Earth, just not for the reasons you would expect. I want to tell you about the worst bird in Antarctica. Not the most dangerous, not the most impressive. The worst. The snowy sheathbill is the only land bird that lives in Antarctica year-round. It is completely white. It looks like a pigeon that got a little lost. It has no webbing between its toes, which means it cannot swim. It has no specialization for catching fish. So how does it survive? It steals. It eats penguin eggs when parents are not watching. It eats penguin chicks. It eats penguin excrement. It eats seal placentas after pups are born. It steals food from penguin mouths mid-swallow. It harasses and distracts penguins while other sheathbills grab their food. It is a con artist, a scavenger, a pirate, and frankly, a chaos agent in a white coat. It has no natural predators because literally nothing wants to eat it. It lives rent-free in one of the harshest environments on Earth, surviving entirely on the misfortune and bodily byproducts of other animals. Is it admirable? I mean, kind of. It found a niche and it owns that niche completely. It is, in its own way, a survival genius, a very gross survival genius. Picture the most lovable, most hapless, most utterly unprepared for the modern world creature you can imagine. Now give it feathers. The kakapo is the world's largest parrot. It cannot fly. It smells like a floral arrangement, specifically described as musty sweetness, which sounds lovely until you realize that predators can literally sniff it out from a distance, which is a big problem for an animal that is already not flying away from anything. When threatened, the kakapo's defense strategy is to freeze completely, to become very, very still and hope for the best. This worked perfectly in New Zealand before humans arrived with cats and rats and stoats. It has worked considerably less well since then. There are only around 250 kakapos left in the world. Every single one of them has a name. Conservation teams track them individually, celebrate their birthdays, and get genuinely excited when one of them successfully mates. There is a kakapo named Sirocco who became so comfortable with humans that he was made an official spokesbird for New Zealand conservation, and once famously tried to mate with a BBC cameraman's head while Stephen Fry watched and narrated. That video exists.
He's getting a bit frisky.
Ow! Ow! Do you think it is he's actually attempting a sort of mating ritual? He is. Oh, must. You are exact. We're not. Of course.
Look, he's so happy.
You are welcome. The kakapo is critically endangered and people are fighting hard to save them, because once you learn about a kakapo, you would do almost anything to make sure they stay on this earth. Okay, pop quiz. What if a bird smelled like cow manure? Would you still want to learn about it? Yes? Good, because the Hoatzin is fascinating. This bizarre mohawk-wearing, red-eyed Amazonian bird is sometimes called the stink bird, and it earns that name honestly. Its digestive system works like a cow's, fermenting leaves in a specialized crop, which produces the rather pungent aroma that follows it everywhere. Because of this smell, almost nothing hunts it. The Hoatzin has essentially weaponized being disgusting, and honestly, respect. But here is the part that will genuinely make your brain short-circuit. Hoatzin chicks are born with claws on their wings. Not feet, wings. They use these claws to climb trees before they can fly, and if they fall into the water, which happens, they can swim and then claw their way back up the tree. This is not a modern adaptation. Wing claws are a feature of some of the earliest bird fossils, like Archaeopteryx, from 150 million years ago. The Hoatzin chick is essentially giving you a live demonstration of what the dinosaur-to-bird transition may have looked like. You are not watching a bird climb a tree. You are watching deep time. Stop me if you have heard this one. A bird walks into a forest and becomes the forest. The superb lyrebird of Australia is, without question, the greatest vocal mimic on Earth. Males sing to attract females, which is normal. What is not normal is what they sing. Lyrebirds have the ability to replicate almost any sound they hear with startling accuracy. Chainsaws, camera shutters, car alarms. Other bird species, dozens of them, layered together in a single performance. A lyrebird in a zoo in the 1930s reportedly learned to imitate the sounds of flutes and hammers from construction on a nearby building. It then taught those sounds to other lyrebirds in the wild, and that cultural memory of man-made sounds was passed down through generations for decades. There is something both beautiful and deeply melancholy about that. A bird singing the sounds of the old forest. Except the old forest is gone, and what the bird remembers is a chainsaw. Their tail feathers are shaped like the ancient instrument they are named after. When a male fans them out during his song, swaying, dancing, filling the forest with a symphony of stolen sounds, it is one of the most extraordinary wildlife moments you will ever witness. There is a bird that hunts snakes by kicking them in the face repeatedly. The secretary bird walks the African savanna on extraordinarily long legs, looking like the result of an eagle somehow mating with a crane, in the best possible way. It has a dramatically plumed crest that gives it the look of a Victorian scholar with a quill pen behind each ear, which is apparently where the name secretary comes from. When this bird finds a snake, even a venomous one, even a cobra, it stomps on it with a force of up to 5 times its own body weight, delivered at a strike speed so fast, the snake barely has time to react. It also pins snakes with one foot and rips them apart with its hooked beak. It will kick rodents, lizards, and insects the same way. The secretary bird essentially turned its legs into biological hammers and then just walked around looking absolutely regal while using them. It soars like an eagle. It walks like a runway model. It fights like a martial artist. It is everything. We need to talk about the bird that is better at interior design than most humans I know. The male Vogelkop bowerbird, who is himself a dull, brownish, frankly unremarkable-looking bird, builds a structure called a bower, and calling it a nest would be a colossal insult to what this animal actually creates. He constructs a hut, a literal thatched hut, sometimes over 3 feet tall, with a front lawn of carefully curated objects. He collects and arranges colorful berries, flowers, beetle wings, stones, and any other bright objects he can find, sorting them by color. He creates contrast. He adjusts placement based on what he observes about female reactions. He has been documented removing objects that were not working and replacing them with better choices. He is editing. He is making aesthetic decisions. In the forest, as a bird. Researchers have actually tested bowerbirds by sneaking in and rearranging their collections while they are away. The birds notice, they fix it, every time. The bower is not a nest, by the way. It is a stage. The female visits, judges his collection and his hut, and either mates with him or leaves to check out other bowers. If she leaves, he goes right back to his collection and starts making improvements. He does not give up. He just keeps decorating. Let's take the energy somewhere a little more intense. The harpy eagle is the largest, most powerful eagle in the Americas, and it looks like it was designed by someone who was asked to create the most intimidating bird physically possible. Its face has a gray facial disc that focuses sound like an owl's, surrounded by a dramatic ruff of feathers that frames it like a crown. Its eyes are deep, searching, and frankly a little judgmental. Its talons are the size of grizzly bear claws. Let me say that again. The rear talons of a harpy eagle, up to 5 inches long, are comparable in size to the claws of a grizzly bear. It uses them to snatch monkeys and sloths directly from the forest canopy while in flight. Full-grown howler monkeys, animals that weigh 15 to 18 pounds, snatched from a tree while the eagle is moving. The harpy eagle flies through dense rainforest at speed because it has evolved a shorter wingspan proportionally, allowing it to maneuver between trees like a fighter jet. It is a precision killing machine dressed up in the most dramatic feathers you have ever seen. Indigenous peoples throughout its range have included it in mythology and sacred traditions for centuries. Looking at one, you understand why immediately. Right. We need a palate cleanser. Something a bit more fun. May I introduce the Inca tern, a seabird of the Pacific coast of South America, and the only bird on this list that appears to be sporting a very sophisticated mustache. These steel gray birds have bright red-orange beaks and feet, vivid yellow patches at the corners of their mouths, and a pair of long, elegant white feathers that curl away from each side of the face like a beautifully maintained Victorian gentleman's mustache. The longer the mustache, the healthier the bird. Females actually prefer males with fuller, more elaborate mustaches, which is, objectively, a very reasonable preference. They form pair bonds for life and raise chicks together. They have been photographed looking like distinguished elderly professors attending an academic conference. Inca terns, elegant, mustachioed, perfect. Here is a bird that has solved a problem no other bird has figured out how to solve. Bones. Other vultures and scavengers get to the carcass first. They eat the meat, the organs, everything soft. By the time the bearded vulture arrives, all that is left are the bones. And you know what? That is exactly what it came for. The bearded vulture's diet is roughly 90% bone marrow. It has stomach acid strong enough to dissolve bone completely. It will carry large bones high into the air, sometimes nearly 500 feet up, and drop them onto rocks below to shatter them, then swoop down and eat the fragments. It does this repeatedly until the bone is small enough to swallow. It has invented tools from its own body in the sky. And then there is the coloring. Adult bearded vultures have pale white or cream underparts, except that they actively dye themselves. They find iron oxide-rich soil and water and rub it all over their feathers, turning themselves a deep, rusty orange red. Researchers believe this signals health and dominance, a bird that paints itself to look stronger, with rust. I cannot stress how much this bird should not be real. You know how sometimes something is so weird it circles all the way back around to being adorable? The potu. This nocturnal bird is a master of camouflage. During the day, it perches on a broken tree stump or branch, tilts its head upward, closes its enormous eyes to slits, and becomes, for all intents and purposes, a piece of wood. It is virtually undetectable. Its bark-patterned feathers blend so perfectly that even experienced naturalists have walked right past them. And then, it opens its eyes. And those eyes are enormous, wide, golden, deeply haunted looking, the expression of an animal that has seen some things and processed none of them. The potu call, which it does at night from its perch, is a mournful, descending wail that sounds like someone softly sobbing in the forest. In some cultures, it is considered a bad omen. In other contexts, it sounds like a sad cowboy song without the guitar. On the internet, potus have become beloved for their expression, which is best described as existential uncertainty. There is an entire genre of potu memes because this bird simply looks like it has feelings about being a bird. And who among us really cannot relate to that? The cassowary is the most dangerous bird alive. Full stop. It is flightless, standing up to 6 feet tall, with brilliant blue and red skin on its neck and head, and a large bony casque rising from the top of its skull like a helmet. It looks like someone took a dinosaur, gave it feathers, added a medieval weapon, and then turned it loose in the rainforest. The casque is still not fully understood. It may help the bird push through dense vegetation or amplify low-frequency sounds, or both. What is understood are its feet. The cassowary has 3 toes on each foot. The inner toe has a dagger-like claw up to 5 inches long. When threatened, it can deliver a kick with enough force to disembowel a person. This is not hypothetical. It has happened. And yet, cassowaries are one of the most important animals in their ecosystem. They eat fruit, hundreds of species of fruit, and pass the seeds intact through their digestive systems, spreading them across vast areas of rainforest. Some plants can only be germinated by passing through a cassowary. If cassowaries disappear, entire plant species go with them. They are not just an animal. They are a service the whole forest depends on. Do not approach a cassowary, but also please protect them. Both things can be true. There are birds that are beautiful, and then there is the resplendent quetzal. The male has an emerald green back and head, a crimson red chest, and tail feathers, called upper tail coverts, that grow up to 3 feet long during breeding season. When it flies, those tail feathers stream behind it in long, flowing curves of iridescent green. It has been described as looking like a flying jewel, like a living flame of green and red. The quetzal was considered sacred by the Maya and the Aztec. Quetzal feathers were more valuable than gold. The bird was associated with Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent deity, and killing one was punishable by death. To this day, it is the national bird of Guatemala, its image is on the flag, and the national currency is named after it. The quetzal lives in cloud forests, those misty, magical mountain jungles. It is notoriously difficult to spot. People travel thousands of miles just for a glimpse of one. And those who see one in the wild consistently say the same thing. No photograph, no description, no documentary footage does it justice. Some beauty has to be earned. Remember what I said earlier about New Guinea birds of paradise being utterly unhinged? Allow me to submit Exhibit B. The Wilson's bird of paradise has a bare, bright blue scalp. Not feathers, skin. Blue skin on top of its head with a pattern of fine black lines like a tiny topographic map of some imaginary country. Its chest is an iridescent turquoise green. Its back is deep crimson. Its tail feathers spiral into two elegant curling wires of deep purple. In total, this bird contains more distinct vivid colors than almost any other creature on Earth. And it is tiny, smaller than your hand. To top it all off, the male prepares a display area on the forest floor, pulling away leaves and clearing the ground so sunlight hits it just right, because its colors only achieve their full iridescent effect in direct light. He literally sets the stage for his own performance. David Attenborough once said that discovering new species of birds of paradise felt like finding paintings in the rainforest. Looking at the Wilson's bird of paradise, you understand exactly what he meant. Quick riddle. What has a bill longer than its own body? Only one bird species in the entire world. The sword-billed hummingbird of the Andes has a beak so extraordinarily long, up to 4 inches, that its body is actually shorter than its bill. Proportionally, it would be like a human having a nose over 3 feet long. The bird has to hold its head tilted upward when perching just to keep its bill from dragging. This bill evolved entirely to feed from one specific flower. The giant datura and certain passion flowers with extremely long tubular corollas that no other bird can reach. The sword-billed hummingbird and these flowers evolved together over millions of years, each becoming more extreme, each depending on the other completely. This is called co-evolution, and it is one of nature's most perfect love stories. A bird and a flower shaping each other across millennia. The flower grew longer. The bird's bill grew to match. The flower grew longer again. And so it went. A conversation between species written in anatomy, stretching back through millions of years of time. Some birds sing. Some birds build. The magnificent riflebird dances. The male stands on a horizontal branch, spreads his wings into a perfect arc, a black half circle that frames his iridescent blue-green chest plate, and then he moves. He sways his head in smooth, hypnotic arcs from side to side. His wings pulse. His feathers catch the light and shift from black to electric blue to emerald in a fraction of a second. When a female lands nearby, he enfolds her in his wings, gently. The two of them briefly become one shape, her head surrounded by his shimmering arc of feathers. For a moment, they are wrapped together in this little universe of blue and black. Then she either accepts him or flies away. If she flies away, he returns to his branch. He resets, he spreads his wings again, and he dances again every day, every season, every year of his life. There is something in that persistence, in that willingness to be fully present, to give everything to each performance regardless of outcome, that I find strangely moving. But maybe I am just projecting onto a bird. Maybe. Most birds sit on their eggs. The Malayo considers this an inefficient use of time. This large black and white bird with a dramatic bony casque on its head belongs to a family of birds called megapodes, and megapodes have figured out something extraordinary. Why generate your own body heat when the earth will do it for you? Malayos dig into geothermally heated ground, near volcanic activity or on sun-warmed beaches, and bury their eggs. The eggs are enormous relative to the bird's body, up to 8 times the size of a chicken egg, and once they are buried, the parents leave. They do not incubate, they do not guard, they just walk away. The chick develops alone underground. And when it hatches, it digs itself out, which can take 2 days, and emerges into the world fully feathered. Within hours, it can fly. A newly hatched bird flying. No practice, no parents, no lessons. It arrives into existence already capable, already complete, which is a level of preparation for life that, honestly, I find a little humbling. And then we come to the last one. I saved this one for last on purpose. The wandering albatross has the largest wingspan of any living bird, up to 11.5 feet tip to tip. It breeds on remote sub-Antarctic islands, but for most of its life it is in the air over the Southern Ocean, gliding, for years at a time. An albatross can travel nearly 47,000 miles in a single year. Some individuals have been tracked flying around the entire Southern Ocean, around the entire bottom of the world, in a matter of weeks. They use a technique called dynamic soaring, dipping down near the wave surface to gain speed from the wind gradient, then rising and gliding over and over in a continuous rhythm that requires almost no energy. They can fly for hours without a single wing beat. Young albatrosses spend their first 5 to 7 years entirely at sea. They never touch land, they sleep on the wing, they drink seawater. And then, when they are ready, and only when they are ready, they return to the island where they were born. They live for 50, 60, sometimes 70 years. They mate for life. An albatross will court for years, dancing, calling, touching bills with the same partner year after year before they finally breed together. And when they do, they raise one chick at a time, with devotion, both parents taking turns flying thousands of miles to bring back food. There is a famous poem by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, in which the killing of an albatross brings catastrophe upon a ship's crew. Sailors traditionally considered albatrosses to be the souls of lost mariners, good omens, protected, sacred. There is something about an animal that has spent millions of years perfecting the act of free, effortless flight over the wildest ocean on Earth. Something about a creature that lives that long, loves that faithfully, and wanders that far, that feels like it deserves the weight of myth. The wandering albatross is not just a bird. It is, in some ways, the idea of freedom made physical, a reminder that the world is enormous and wild and full of things that move through it with a grace we can barely imagine.